Jennifer Norrell.
Steve Magazzini.
Are there any public comments tonight?
No public comment.
Okay, Steve, can we get started with the?
Okay, yes. So we have item 3A, which is the East Aurora High School Mechanical Improvement Project, the bid results for this next summer, 2025. We went out to bid, and this is for the installation and renovation of the entire freshman building or the freshman area, including the freshman cafeteria, as well as adding new air conditioning to the gymnasium, the main high school gym, and the small gym that's connected as well. We had 3 bidders, and we have the lowest responsive bidder. That recommendation is included as well.
Steve, what's left at the high school to condition, air conditioning?
So that area of the gym is the last piece. However, there's also portions of the building that need to be renovated and redone because the air doesn't work all too well. I mean, it works, but we have a lot of concerns and it breaks down. And this project over the next 3 years would also include replacing the boilers with the hydronic boilers. So.
All right.
Okay, so the company will be DeKalb Mechanical then?
Yes.
Okay. Who was the company that had all the problems over at
That was Amber.
Amber at
Yes.
Register Road and Hermes? Is
That was Amber.
Simmons,
Amber. Okay, fine. Just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep, that was my first question.
Any questions on that?
No?
Yeah, could the committee get in, maybe not at the next meeting, but soon, what's left at the high school for the air conditioning on kind of a map and, you know, what are classrooms, what are office spaces, but what are other areas that still need to be done and what the plan is for that?
Can I ask Rich? Rich, are you familiar with what doesn't have any air conditioning at all once we add it to the high school gym?
We have maps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
And out of curiosity, what was the issue with Simmons? Because some of the neighbors still claim that is noisy over there.
Well, the noise was originally from the temporary unit.
Mhm.
We'll have to check and see if I'll have to look into it because I wasn't aware that we were still having concerns with noise with that unit that's there.
Okay, that was Amber also?
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but I would check because they are saying it's a little noisy over there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Just for clarification, and that is it inside the school or
No,
is it
it's
the
outside,
neighbors?
the outside, those
Oh,
units
okay.
are, you know,
Okay.
units that are outside.
Simmons.
No,
Simmons.
Simmons.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep. Okay.
I'll have to look at that.
Item number 3B is the mechanical equipment quotes. So again, we've been using Train throughout the districts along with the Train controls, the BAS system. And so this is the quote for that first phase of adding the AC and replacing rooftop units in the freshman area.
Okay.
If there's the quote that we get also, we have an opportunity if we pay up front, we can get a rebate on some of that equipment for that percentage, whatever, if it's 2-3%. But I want to say we're looking at about a $200,000 savings if we purchase this in the fall, which I know that we want to place this order because the lead times continue to lag on getting the equipment in on time for next summer.
Okay.
Well, what's the exposure to the district if we pay up front? Any negative? I mean, is there any negative to that or?
I mean, I don't believe so in a sense that we've worked with Train for a number of years and have done this same process. So
Mhm.
I think that we are, and I know that they will house it if it gets manufactured and we have it, they will hold it secured. The district isn't responsible to hold it on our property. They'll hold it and secure it until it's needed. But what we've been finding is the manufacturing of all this equipment, it's leading right up until, May and June when we need it anyway, and we're able to move forward. So,
Okay.
All right. That sounds like a good idea.
so both of those items will come back at the next meeting, the full board meeting for approval.
Mhm.
Item 3C is the Career Technical Center update. So we have, we continue to work with the architect and with the city with regards to all of these, you know, plans that have to be put forth prior to breaking ground. We have the soil borings that are completed, the site survey. We have completed the traffic study. And the third party, the third company or outside company that did the traffic study, they are compiling that information and they want to share that with the city. We, the district, are also answering questions to make sure that there's a fine, clear understanding of the traffic patterns that are going to take place there. I had also, in our meeting that we had with the traffic study company, I just wanted to be clear because right now in Indian Trail, they're doing a lot of construction. And so that makes a difference. And he talked to us about how they compute for, there may not be as many cars right now because it's down the one lane. So they take that into consideration. It sounds like, you know, they're making improvements on Indian Trail, but they're not necessarily widening and making more lanes. So that, you know, I just wanted to make sure that that was clear to everyone that it's kind of hard to do that traffic study based on the fact that there's a lot of traffic there because of the construction. So that's all being taken under consideration as they move forward with this.
Well, they are supposed to be done with that by November, but it doesn't really look like it. And, you know, it has kind of been a bone of contention for the neighborhood because it's not really expanding the streets. It's just, you know, and it's been so long.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they're putting
so the
median.
neighborhood is concerned about if the school puts a larger facility there, how is that going to impact their traffic?
And we did
a
talk,
bad area of traffic.
and we did talk about, you know, we're still working out plans as to how this will be, but we'll have more buses that are coming from the high school over, so it won't be as much car traffic. And we're looking at staggering times to make sure that we don't have the little ones and the high school all coming together at the same time. So,
Okay.
The shuttle for the Resilience Center is working out beautifully, and they are, and I'll look at Principal Mitchell, they're about 4 minutes behind the bell schedule for the high school. You've adjusted so that the kiddos could get over and get back and seamless time to not be late from classes on either side and make enough time to get back. Obviously, going all the way to Indian Trail, we would have to build a schedule that allowed for enough time for them to drive that distance. But the kids are on the buses. They don't even try to drive. It works really well. Would you want to add anything? And it works great. So we would just have to do a schedule where we may not start first thing and then we start a little delay. But the goal would be not to have kids drive. To your point, President Johnson, we don't want to have added traffic. So we would have the buses, and the kids are fine right now taking the shuttles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
any other questions on that?
No.
So what's happening in December here? Which committee meetings? Is that like committee of the whole or?
Well, for the city, when we have all of our information together, the city has to approve for us to move forward, and that's the engineering plans and everything. So we have all that gathered up. So the goal is still that we will break ground in the spring, and move forward from there.
When does this go out to bid then?
Right in December-ish. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Exciting.
And then item 3D is the HVAC mechanical preventive maintenance contracts. So we currently have a contract with FE Moran to come out and do quarterly maintenance on all of our new equipment. And that includes, you know, we're looking at 100 or 200 units just in one of the buildings of the high school. And so across all of our 18 buildings, I've attached the service codes and the items that they take care of when they come out. So there's the heating and cooling units as well as ventilation. And so we're looking to renew for another year the contract that would allow us to continue to have this maintenance upkeep. for all of our equipment.
Okay.
And then the next item is 3E, which is the East Aurora High School traffic pattern review. We wanted to have a discussion about the East Aurora High School traffic pattern. We have been running into some challenges with the buses and the traffic flow. And so Mr. Jenkins had taken some drone footage of the area, and we have a recommendation on how we believe we'd be able to help with the traffic flow. And part of the challenge is these buses have to get through here and then they move on.
All right, so part of the issue, I'm just gonna go back just a little bit historically. Before we got buses, there's 3 streets that come southbound into heading straight at East Avenue, Howell Place, and State Street. They blocked those off. That took all the traffic and pushed it to the west. So we're just gridlocked everywhere. So people are always going to complain about the traffic being an issue. But here in our lot, right here, as you just see, I just have the school bus, and this was earlier on. So I took just a couple snippets. I don't want to bore everyone with this. But as this bus goes along, there are parents who literally come into the lot simply so that they can get as close as they can to here, because they can't go any further. This is where the buses come in to go to door 8. And they just get stuck behind these cars. They pull up, they stop, and it creates an issue. We've got kids that are walking through the lot. If you guys look closely in the areas in the lot, there's, we got burnouts and people doing donuts, all kinds of shenanigans are going on in the lot. And what we really like to do is just limit access to this lot in the morning. There's 124 spots that are slated for staff and students to park there. And if we were able to do this, only kids that have their stickers affixed where they're supposed to, staff members and buses, would be allowed to come into the lot right there at 6th and State. Okay, so just gonna move up here a little bit longer. I'm just gonna move to the next one here. I think what's going on here, technical difficulties. Oh, that sucks. Just froze up here. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
That's irritating. I've played this no less than 30 times today, you guys. Trust me on this. What the world? Completely froze. One second. Hold on.
Can you get the map back up?
Yeah, I'll just hold on. Go on.
Just the aerial of the high school, even if the video doesn't play.
No, it's completely froze here.
No, don't do that. Is it?
What's going on?
No, that's really.
What's going on?
We can put it on Google Maps.
Well, oh yeah. Well, I can. Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's all right. That's all right. Let me do this. All right, got an issues. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Sorry about that. So where are we at here? Okay, that's good. Right here. So what we would like to do is right there in the corner of 6th and State Street. We want to just not allow cars to come into the lot in the mornings. So if your cars are coming eastbound on 6th Street, they're going to have to turn and go northbound on State Street. If you notice at the very back side of the stadium, there's a sidewalk that goes directly up there towards door 8. And that's going to be the area somewhere along State Street that they can drop the kids off. Buses get stuck on State Street coming southbound also, and it causes a huge problem even turning into the lot in the morning. And we have people who park in spots. They have no business being there, and this is a constant problem throughout the day. And we plan to have one of the PPAs that will be their sole responsibility in the morning all day long is just limiting access to this lot. So we don't have all this traffic and all the cars in and about. We know that it's a humongous traffic issue and cars are packed all over the place. We also wanted to talk about sending the buses that come down State Street. They would all come down 6th. So they'd all have a straight path straight into the high school lot as opposed to having to make a turn off State into the lot. So that's basically what we're trying to do to eliminate those issues.
So, Mr. Jenkins, you want to create a one-way State Street just to go one-way northbound or one-way southbound, or still stay 2 ways?
The buses only. The buses, State Street's that's a city street, so we have no control over that.
Right.
We have control over the lot. But we'll take the buses, we'll send them down 6th Street. So they just have one straight shot. They're not in between. One of the videos I have, you've got 4 or 5 cars, a bus, 4 or 5 cars, a bus, and they're all trying to get in here. And it creates a huge problem getting our kids to class on time.
Right.
Because it takes them 15, 20 minutes to get from State Street to door 8 because of people wanting to drop their kids off.
So if we
close
drop
to
the,
door.
so instead of the bottleneck being in the parking lot, if we only limit traffic to State Street and 6th Avenue, won't we create a bottleneck there instead?
Oh, it's going to be bottleneck. No matter everywhere in that neighborhood in the mornings, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, it's going to be a disaster.
No, I remember when they shut off all those streets, the north-south streets off 5th Avenue. I mean, what's the feasibility of the city reopening those streets and creating a drop-off in the north part of across the street from the old main entrance? I mean, can we ask the city to reopen those streets? Because that was to prevent cruising back in the old days.
I don't know. It took a
And
lot to
the
get that
drive-bys. I remember when they
Yeah.
shut all the streets off. And that's what created all this traffic mess now. What's the feasibility to ask the city to reopen those streets? And we can ask.
Yep.
And then we can create a drop-off area in the north part, half a block north. Then the kids just walk into the north door instead of the east door, the west door.
That's
Is that,
that's a conversation.
we can ask, you know.
Yeah, we can.
In the interim, I think if we close off the parking lot to only those who are supposed to be there in buses, then that would still allow parents to safely drop their students off at the sidewalk. That's right there adjacent to the stadium. And then they could walk right alongside the back of the concession stand. No. Yeah,
if they're concerned
there
about
it
the
is
rain
right
and
there.
stuff.
Yeah, right along the south end of the concessions, and they could walk there and then just cross.
And if people are concerned about the rain and stuff, I mean, in the future, feasibility of looking at building a rain shield along the sidewalk on the north end of the parking lot there, so the kids won't get wet or snowed on when they're crossing the parking lot to go to if they're dropped off.
We could do
So that was a big thing. It's called it's called the Ho Chi Minh Trail in the high school. It was supposed to be covered. It's not been covered yet. But the kids that walk from the freshman center to the cafeteria have to walk to the elements to take the shortcut to the cafeteria.
Yeah.
That's also supposed to be covered. It's not been done yet. But
Oh yeah, there's another courtyard that has a big open, like
Yeah, that's
really
called the Ho Chi Minh
open. You're
Trail,
right. Yeah. Oh, I never
The
knew
future
there
told
was
me that,
supposed
yeah.
to be a covering because that would be perfect.
that was part of the original plan of the high school
Oh,
before
okay.
before you came along. But
Okay.
this is actually an exposed hallway, then a covered walkway. Now it's just paved. It was actually a gravel walkway before that.
Oh,
That's probably the cheapest option is to cover it up, drop the kids off on 6, and they can walk over.
We can look at that. I believe that, and I was in HR at the time, but I believe remembering that that covering of that walkway was just based on some budgetary things at the time when they redid the high school, that was cut out. But that's something we can look
I
at.
do believe that was true because we
That is.
got late with East High. We had some cost overruns. And then we had to start cutting some things out, and that was,
But that hallway was one
that
of
was it.
But I do think on this, I believe there's a little bit of a roof line that allows you to kind of walk right next to the building that covers you a little
Oh,
bit.
pretty big,
Yeah, if you have a mass of kids, 500 kids walking
Right,
at once,
yeah.
someone's gonna get bumped out.
No, you're right.
Oh, we could take a look.
Yeah, we could ask
Mhm.
Corey when you look at this.
Mhm. Okay.
And there's
Right.
adequate parking that, I mean, in this slot
Mhm.
here,
Yeah,
there's
never
plenty of
Yes.
parking.
Yes, they
It's just-
open it up
Yeah,
to the
you have
seniors
enough,
first, then the juniors, sophomores,
Yeah.
whoever has a license, insurance, and things that they're supposed to have, and then teachers parking spots. There's 124 spots in
And that's
Yeah.
adequate.
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it is because right now you've got, and it's free, so you've got kids that are parking there that don't have the proper tags and things like that. And we've towed some cars in the past, but
And we also have some spots on the other side.
right.
So
Oh,
the
sure, with
staff also
faculty staff.
parks on the other
Mhm.
side as well.
Okay.
All right.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then finally, item 3F is the work order summary.
Okay. Well, looks like we've been keeping up.
Look at that real quick.
Other than that, I think we're all set with the agenda.
Mhm. Okay.
Mode.
So we have a little time. Why don't you want to go through this, Steve, the work order summary? You know,
Sure.
is there a response time on here? Because we used to track that, right?
Yeah. So that top left corner, we have 51 completed on time, and I believe that on time number is based on a 7-day window. And then the completed that are overdue. And again, this is a little bit misleading because we'd have to break down every work order to see what work order is something like moving boxes from one space to another would be an on-time completion. Whereas if we were, having to fix a plumbing issue, it might take a little bit longer. And then we also, when it gets pushed out to the maintenance mechanics, there's also time that needs if they need materials. So, but I think when we had the previous system, I think we were looking at about a 58 to 60 percent. So we're a little bit behind, but again, I'd have to do more looking at that. But I think that the good part about the system is it allows us to track what has to be done and how things are going with it, but also, just making sure we have follow up to concerns or needs throughout the district. And then we have work requests by user, and then PMs or preventive maintenance by request type as well.
And that work requests by type. So I would suspect you could probably break that out into response time for each of those pie sections, correct?
Yes.
It might be something we want to look at for certain areas on that, but nice. Any questions from the committee on that?
No, I
No?
think, no. It's like we're moving along.
There was one item that was brought up to fellow board member from a community member regarding East High, the canopy on door 47.
Yes.
Dr. Norrell or
Yes.
Steve, could we
Yes.
just get an
Yes.
update for the record on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, so it was looked at and repaired by an outside
Oh,
company
nice.
that we use, like the roofing area.
Yep.
So,
Oh, good. Check it off the list.
Yes.
Good.
That
All right, excellent.
was fast. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, thanks.
Okay.
anything else?
Anything else from the committee?
No, it looks like everything's fine.
Alex?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
6:26.
Mhm.